Okay guys, we're up and recording. I haven't tested the sound yet, but we're going to try it out. I can't actually get you guys at a point where I could show you all of the three monitors. I can show you three monitors, but you're not getting everything. But you're getting most of it. This will give you a general idea. This is where the OBS software comes in. It actually lets you get the full screen, but it won't let you get the full three screens. It only lets you get one. In this case, we can get three screens. We'll see a little bit of other stuff as well. You're not really completely submerged in it, but this will give you a pretty good idea. So I'm going to fire it up now and see if we got any sound. I may have to adjust it so that it doesn't override my voice. See what we got here. Find the mouse. There's the mouse. I click in there. I'll hit my pause button. Take the pause button off. Okay, so we're sitting at an airport now and the engine's not running. And in order to do that, to start the engine up, in this case, we're not going to use the real life thing. We're going to use what we have on the keyboard, which is Control E. That should give us giving us a little bit of sound. Not sure how good that sound is. Actually, that sounds not good at all. Let's see if we can fix that first. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can shut the engine down. I'm not sure how to shut the engine down. Control E starts it. Control W. Okay, we'll leave it there for a second. We've got to get hooked up here. I see the problem. We don't have our sound hooked in for the engine. We're going to plug that in and see what we get. Now you kind of got what would be the real sound. With a little bit of hissing and static coming from the amp, but that's okay. I'll give you a general idea as I throttle up what it does and everything. So now their engine's running and we've got our clear from traffic control to go ahead and take off. What we need to do next is to increase our throttle and take off. So prepare yourselves. Here we go. Got to bring the speed up to the proper speed. I think it's usually 60 knots in an aircraft like this before you do what they call rotate, which is pull back on the yoke, or joystick, whichever the case may be, and you will end up climbing like this. Okay, so we're climbing, and you can look off to the left and you can look off to the right. Straight ahead you can't see much because we're pitched up. Turn the aircraft engine down just a little. The noise. There we go. Alright, so you can look out left and right. It's pretty cool. You want to get up in the air a little ways before you do too much turning or anything, because you don't want to stall this close to the ground, which can happen if you turn too sharp or don't know how to fly and don't do the maneuvers correctly. Got to kind of level out here a little bit. Show you if we were to look down on the center view, you'll actually be able to see the controls. I use the mouse, I'll select the center view, and then I'll use the hat on the joystick or the yoke to give you an idea of what our controls look like, or not our controls, our gauges. So I've got one in the center there that's got the blue on the top. That shows you your angle in the air. If I cut to the left, or if I cut to the right, as long as you've got that orange marker lined up with the white mark there, those white marks, then you'll be, if it were pitch dark, you would know you're level, at least level in the sense of left and right. Then there's also you watch that same gauge, and if I pitch down, you'll see that the orange drops below the blue, or the black at the bottom, or the gray at the bottom is the ground. If I pull back on the yoke to pull up, you'll see the orange go into the blue because now we're headed for the sky. So the idea is to get your proper height that you want to be, and then level yourself out. We can do that visually because we can see the ground and we can see the sky, so we won't use the gauge for that. But I have put my, one more thing I'll point out, I guess, the gauge just to the right of that is the altitude. Now we're dropping. See, it's going back towards the 2, the big hand there. Okay, now it's slowing down. I'm going to pitch up. And you'll see our altitude increase. Now it's going clockwise, so it's going to go up to 3,000 feet. Let's take it to 3,000 feet so you get an idea of what 3,000 feet looks like. Okay, now I'll try to level out here because I'm going to hit 3,000 feet pretty quick. Pitched her down a little too much. Just because I have this image looking at the gauges, it makes it hard for me to tell when We'll go a little above 3,000. That's okay. Okay, so we have some other gauges there too. I won't get too crazy about explaining any of that just now. I'm going to put this view in the middle here back down to where it should be, so we can fly by sight. Okay, now we're going to pitch the nose down a little bit until we get leveled out here. See in the middle of the dashboard, that round thing is a compass. It tells you what direction you're headed. Okay, so we're headed away from the airport. Now I want to swing back to the airport, so I'm going to hang a left. I'm at full throttle. I'm going to bring it back to 75%. Run at full throttle, it might overheat. There's the airport directly below us. You can see that in the left monitor. Like I said, we're at 3,000 feet. Let's see if we can take ourselves down a little bit now so that we can consider coming into the airport here. I'm going to swing out along this highway that we see coming up on the center view right about now. Straight in front of us. Kill the throttle a little more. Kill the throttle, you'll drop easier. It takes more throttle to hold you up. Okay, so we're pointed away from the airport. I'm going to drop down. I'm going to bring the altitude down to about 1,500, 2,000 feet, roughly. And then I'm going to make that attempt at swing it back towards the airport again. We got to figure out where it is. We can't really rotate our head, so we can't really see like we could in the real world, but we'll go until we see it come into view. I do believe if we follow this highway, or keep the lake to the right, then the airport is going to be on our left. Okay, remember this patch of ground. Everything is about visual reference. Remember this patch of ground just kind of runs parallel to the end of the runway. So I'm going to line up pretty much square to that. I'll look and see if I can see the runway. The runway should be straight ahead and to the left somewhere, unless I got myself confused, which I may have. Sometimes it's you can't look around properly with your head the way you're supposed to, like you could in the real world. Sometimes you can get disoriented, confused as to where you are. There's the runway. We're headed straight for it. Now here in Canada, we're supposed to cross the runway, I believe, at 1,500 feet at 90 degrees, like I'm doing right now. Which is not what I planned to do. It's just how it worked out, but that's what you're supposed to do in the real world. So we're going to fly across the runway. We're going to bring our altitude down a little bit now that we're past the runway. Switch my view here real quick. My gear's already down, which really shouldn't have been, but it is. Okay, we're probably pretty close to the 1,500 foot mark. Now I'm going to hang a complete left, about 90 degrees if I can. I'm going to try anyway. These maneuvers I'm doing are a little more exaggerated than you would want to do in the real world. You could stall if you were to control your aircraft as aggressively as I'm doing right now. Maybe not though, because it's fairly realistic in terms of flight modes and stuff too. So we're going to fly a little ways this way, straight ahead. Reason being is we want that airport just behind us enough that we can turn a 90-degree angle and be running parallel to it. So I'm going to cut to the left again. Should be out far enough now that we can get parallel to the airport. Runway. Seems as though I'm still dropping. I'm going to increase the throttle just a little bit. And I have a suspicion that we're probably pretty close to where we need to be, so I'm going to straighten up. Now let's try to identify where that airport is. There's the runway right there, so I'm going to have to do a hard 90 degrees right now. Bring the throttle down some more. Get myself lined up for the runway to bring it in for a landing. We're going to be we're a little bit off here. Need to drop her down a little more. Cut the throttle back just a bit. We don't want to come in too fast. We don't want to come in too slow either, so you got to watch that. Okay, we're fairly close now. I'm going to hit the flaps. Back on the throttle a little more, try to get lined up better on that runway. This is a bit sloppy, guys, but gives you the general idea. Try to get that cowl lined up directly on that runway. You're over that runway, you kill the throttle a little more, you drop her off. That's a stall sign. I'm probably going to crash. Yeah, we hit pretty hard. We might have destroyed the... Now we need to hit the brakes. We're down, but I think we might have busted the landing gear. So that's it. We've landed, killed the throttle. I don't know why it's doing that. We're on the ground. kill that noise for a second. So let's look around here and see what we got. Let's switch to the external view. Yeah, see, we took out our landing gear. That was a completely bomb crash. I might have lived through it, but messed up the aircraft for sure. Needs practice. That can happen in real life too, so that just gives you a general idea. Well, we can restart and use a different aircraft if we want to as well. So we won't save this flight because we don't want to keep coming in. Well, if we save this flight, we won't be able to take off with the destroyed landing gear, so we need to start over. So we'll go flight reset. Okay guys, that's a pretty lengthy video. I'm going to pause there for a second.